Right. So as I was just explaining you in the last class when we met, we started with the doubtful present tense. In this class, we'll continue over the doubtful past tense. Just give me a quick thumbs up if the audio is good on the Facebook site. Just want to make sure that you guys can hear me okay. Um, so I think it's going fine. So if you guys recall, just to kind of give a quick recap of what was covered in the past class, we covered scenarios like that there's a possibility of happening them in the present tense, right? So when we spoke about doubtful present tense, it indicates that event or scenario may be happening in the present scenario, in the present. Okay, so we covered examples like he may be coming, he may be coming. Okay, so that's one example of it. Do you guys recall how do you say that in Hindi? Anuji, you want to give it a try? You recall how did we? What was the formula? And just 1 minute so I can increase the volume.
It's veh ata hoga.
Very good, right? So we said he may be coming would be veh ata hoga. What's your thought process behind it? You want to deconstruct it further?
The way we express the doubtful present is the use of hona in the form hoga, hogi, hoge, honge,
Okay.
depending on the subject, and we doubt the way that it will come. The verb is to come, so it's ana.
Okay.
So we conjugate ata with veh, which is as if it was in present tense, but then we add the hoga form, or hoga grammatical form.
Very good, right? So for he may be coming, we said vah ata hoga. Now, just to take one step further, if the same thing, if the probability of happening this thing is in the past tense, and you want to say instead of, so this one is present doubtful, right? What about the same thing? It's past doubtful, and your sentence is he might have come, right? Same sentence, but it's happening, or it might have happened in the past. Okay, how do you say that? You want to give it a try?
I don't know if we need to change the two form of the verbs or only one.
Try it. I mean, this is just like a practice right now. We will go over everything systematically. Let's say you don't know about it, and you just have to.
So the subject is still the same, veh. The past tense, the past form of ana is aya, I. So let me see. I don't know. I never know for past. I'm bad in past. The I, no?
You are on the right track, right? Vah?
No. Help me.
Present.
I know it's aya, so.
Very good, right? Vah aya.
And then should it be hoga also, or?
You are right, actually. It's vah aya hoga. Okay, so you don't need the lesson; you already know it. So as she mentioned, it would be vah aya hoga for he might have come. Okay, and essentially this is what we refer to as a doubtful past tense. Okay, which by definition it means that there is a possibility of work getting completed, or there's a possibility, or let me write down the definition, which by definition this means that an action which might have or not or might have not occurred in the past. Okay, that's the definition of your doubtful past tense. Okay, and that's what we'll be focusing on throughout the class. So just again, I want to check, make sure that the audio is good. Give me a quick thumbs up for folks who are watching live on on Facebook. I want to make sure that you guys can hear. Okay, so throughout the class we'll be looking at more such scenarios. Okay, and before I go systematically, I want to cover many such examples, to ensure that you know the context of why we are covering, and how this will help you increase your Hindi learning skills. Okay, so let's look at more such examples. um, in the last class um, we also covered another example. They may be working. They may be working. Okay, and this is again like it's a present doubtful. Okay, now the same thing, if you were to say in the past tense, it would be they might have worked. Okay, again, before I give you the answers, I want to see how you guys can, if you guys remember first from the what we discussed last class, and now if you don't know anything about the the topic, can you still make the a good judgment about it? Okay, Anish, you want to give it a try? They may be working. How do you say that in Hindi?
So there is they.
Way.
To work is काम करना.
Very good. So way.
वे काम कर. The past tense of karna would be.
So this is present. Okay. So far they. Yeah.
You mean in present tense? Okay.
Just,
करते
yeah.
होंगे.
Very good, right? So वे काम करते होंगे. So this is what we covered in the previous class, right?
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the same thing, but you are not sure, right? So you want to say they might have worked, right? So again, you are doubtful about it. Okay, how do you say they might have worked?
So we have to find the past tense of kam karna.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't change honge, if I well understood. So it would be they kam. I don't remember how to do past with karna. It's incredible. They, kam ka. It's I don't know. Is it irregular?
Okay. So this is again just to if you recall, there were two scenarios: transitive and intransitive. And karna, it's basically a transitive verb. It's also, if you recall, I'm not going to give you more hints.
So it's I don't know. I don't remember. It's ki.
You are there, almost there.
Yeah, ki no.
Yeah. He is in a different case, right? If it is.
It's there.
So let's talk about what will be your subject. It will be.
Ve.
And then because it's a transitive verb, it will be.
With ne, so it could be isne.
Mm-hmm.
No, usne.
Ve plus ne is.
Usne.
Vah, if it is singular, then usne. If it is ve, then it's.
Unhone.
Very good, right? Very good. Unhone. And because there is a ne, you don't really change the verb, or the conjugation is based on the object. Okay. So that's why it's उन्होंने काम किया.
So it will be coordinate with Cam or with the subject.
काम.
Okay, so hoga.
Very good, right? उन्होंने काम किया होगा. So it's difficult, as you can tell, but you were still able to, solve it. Okay. So again, like, do you understand the context of when to use this and when to use this? Why don't you replay it about when will you use this sentence and when will you use this sentence?
You want I reply?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. First, in the present doubtful, it means that we're talking about them and we think that they might be working right now. At the same time we are talking.
They may be working. Okay. So again, there's a possibility of them doing it, but it's in the present tense. Okay. Now this one.
And the second one, they might have worked. It means we're talking about the persons now, but we think that they have been working in the past.
They might have.
They might have done it.
Yeah. Now, forget about these examples. Okay. In general, think about scenarios where you will find this kind of sentences useful. Okay. Think about if you're conversing with me in Hindi or anyone in Hindi, when would you like to apply these sentences?
For example, if you're waiting for someone to come, and you say that this person might have taken the train already or might have arrived at the station already.
Okay, very good.
Or, for example, if you're talking about someone you haven't seen for a long time, or a child, for example, and you say that it might have finished his school period, for example.
Yeah, very good, right? So all those are very helpful examples, right? So I want to, before I give you guys the table of it, I want to give more and more examples, right? So now let's try some more examples, okay? And then we'll do the structure. So now in this one, she might have, okay. So let's do one more, so let's do this thing. She might have had sweets. Okay. That's your basically. I mean, you don't usually say it, but if this is confusing you, you can say she might have eaten. Just to kind of give you a clue of the word that I'm looking for. Okay. She might have eaten sweets. Okay. So I'm looking for the word khana, the past, context of khana. So try it and tell me how will you, what will you say? Okay. She might have had sweets. So I already gave you a clue about it. Sweets is nothing but, just say sweet, then it's mithai. Mithai. Okay. So take your time, guys, and then I'm gonna check with you. Okay. So Carolina, what about khana? Is it a transitive verb or intransitive verb? Think about it. And then will you be using some postpositions along with it? I think you will be using some postposition, right? So you are right that he or she is like basically vah. Okay. And when you look at the sentence, you are pretty clear that you're talking about an event that might have occurred, that she might have had sweets. You're not 100% sure, right? If you're 100% sure, you'll be usne mithai khai. That's what you will say, right? but now we are talking about the degree of it. So let me give you some more time. Kevin, I think you almost, I think you are also missing one post position. Okay, so let me give you the clue. You want to try it, Anesh ji?
So verb plus ne is usne.
Okay, very good. So you say usne.
So to eat is kana.
To eat is khana.
So we say mitai or mitai.
So mithai is nothing but sweet. Usne mithai.
Um, ka hoga?
So
Or
to eat is khana, and then the past tense would be
I never know.
you know, in the previous sentence. Try it.
Kana kia.
No. So what's the pattern? Karna becomes kiya, right? And khana becomes, because mithai is feminine singular.
Uh, kana ki? No. Ka? Yes, but I said first ka.
No, it's not done yet.
I don't know.
Khai.
Okay.
Okay, and I'll explain you why. Right. So she might have had sweets. So the first thing that is coming in my mind is like, let's deconstruct it, right? The first thing is like, as I said, like, sweet is mithai. So if you don't know the Hindi word for it, you will use the formula, right? Sweet को हिंदी में क्या कहते हैं? And the answer would be sweet को हिंदी में मिठाई कहते हैं. Okay. Now I'm using had, but essentially it's the verb khana. Okay. And you're using it in the past tense. And the fact that you have had, it's a past tense. Okay. And the fact that I'm using might, it's a doubtful past tense. Okay. Those are the two indication. Now, generally speaking, whenever you have, he or she, that's the pronoun is vah. Okay. But if you recall, so just to kind of like, if you recall, like, khana is also like, a transitive verb. And if you're using the transitive verb in the past tense, you will be using a postposition, right? Ne. So vah plus ne becomes usne. Okay. So usne is clear. Mithai is also clear. Now, if you recall, khana is to eat. Okay. Now, khaya, khai, and khaye. It's basically the past form of khana. Okay. And based on the object, okay, this is feminine singular. Okay. Based on the object, you will do the conjugation of it accordingly. And because it's feminine singular, you will be saying khai. Okay. Usne mithai khai. And hogi is really coming from the doubtful part, might. So this is essentially a very, very complicated sentence. So if you are not able to get it right, you are on the right track. I think of it as the right thing, because essentially you are able to process many rules consciously or subconsciously in one sentence. Think about it. Like when we started, we were really talking about very simple sentences like, I eat sweet, मैं मिठाई खाता हूँ और मैं मिठाई खाती हूँ. From there all the way till here, you should think of it as a positive thing that you're able to process it. Okay. So just to kind of give you again a summary of it, the first thing, if I look at, or if I put myself in your situation, first of all, you may not know the word sweet. So that's the first thing you have to find out keywords in a sentence. That's the first exercise. Okay. Second exercise is like, identify verb and tenses. in the sentence, right? That's the second thing you might have done consciously or subconsciously. You probably looked at the sentence and you looked at it like you have to do this exercise that you're using this verb called to eat, okay? And you're using it in the past tense, okay? That itself is not enough. Now you are doing this exercise whether it's a doubtful or not. Doubtful or not. There's a third thing you kind of did it mentally. Now, the fourth thing you are doing in this sentence is like you are looking at it like if it is a past tense, then then you're looking whether the verb is transitive or intransitive. That's what you did, right? And you figured that because khana is a transitive verb, then you kind of determined that you have to use a postposition along with the pronoun वह ने, so it becomes usne. Okay. The fifth thing you did was like you looked at it and you did the conjugation, the verb conjugation. Okay. And then the sixth thing is like, ending of it, the sentence. Because it's, because it's a doubtful tense, you have to end it with, the right form of hona. Okay. In my opinion, from here, from step 1 till step 6, it's no easy journey. So, stick with me. It's okay to make a mistake here, and we'll continue to kind of learn from it. Okay. So let's do one more examples, but this time I want to do another sentence. So far, I'm using a transitive verb. Let's do the same thing in an intransitive verb. Okay, and then that will also increase your confidence a lot more. Okay, so let me erase it. In the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to kind of like write it in the comments, and I'm gonna cover it. Okay, so now let's cover more examples. Um, they might have they might have uh, they might have come to, or they might have visited Paris. Let's cover this thing. So they might have visited or Paris. That's your sentence. They might have visited or traveled. Okay, so do the same exercise that you did, in the previous sentence. Okay, try to break it down. Okay, systematically. And I'm going to give you enough time on this one. So while I'm covering it, Sharanji, yeah, there are many videos where I'm covering past tense. I'm going to share those with you. Right. So as you're working on this one, any questions you have, you should ask questions, and okay. I'm sorry to change it at the last moment. They might have come, I think they might have come to Paris. I'm sorry to change it at the last moment. They might have come to Paris. Now do it. Okay. Okay. So think I yeah. So to come is ana, if you recall. To come is ana. Okay. Hopefully this should make things easier. What is to arrive, or is it transitive verb or intransitive verb? Let's come to the solutioning part of it. Okay, Anyaji, you want to break it down?
Yeah, I think it's intransitive verb because we cannot ask what or who,
Okay, intransitive verb. And why do you think it's an intransitive verb?
because we don't say to come who or to come what, so
Okay, that's right.
it doesn't
So
work.
very good, right? So we don't use to come what and to come who. Okay, so that's why it basically means it's an intransitive verb. Okay, let's keep going. That's the first thing you did
So it means that we have to conjugate the verb with the subject,
with the sub.
not with the object.
Okay, very good. Now keep going.
So they is they
Okay, they is way, and because it's
times,
intransitive verb, you will not be using ne.
yeah, and
Okay,
then Paris me,
way Paris may, or okay, Paris may.
and the verb is I,
The verb is I, and why are you using I?
because it goes with they, so it
Okay,
doesn't go with Paris anymore.
okay. So because it's a transitive verb, intransitive verb, you have to decide the verb conjugation based on the subject. Okay, keep going. Way Paris I
And then honge.
होंगे. Very good. Right? Way Paris I होंगे. Okay. Um, it's looking much simpler now, right? I mean, it's again, it's if you look at it, essentially it's the same similar sentence as before, but the trick is like I just changed the verb. Okay, instead of the last verb, which was khana, which is transitive, I change it to intransitive verb. Okay, without giving you guys any hint about it, right? So that's why some of you were still using ne. I also changed the verb, so in between, right? So and for those of you who are still not sure about the transitive and intransitive verb, just Google it on YouTube channel, like basically on my channel, and you'll be able to basically find out the difference between transitive and intransitive verb. Okay, I cover it um, in quite a lot of details. Okay. So Shireen, we will not be. So that's what you're writing. It's slightly different, right? We will still say वे Paris में आए होंगे, right? So and Kevin is asking you, why are we using may? It's essentially, implying that in Paris, you don't have to use it. If even if you don't use it, you say where Paris आए होंगे, it essentially means the same thing, that they might have come to Paris. Okay, or you can, in some sentences you will see that because it's two, you can say ko also, that where Paris ko aaye honge, and that's absolutely correct. Okay, so now you probably have seen I've been covering it in two different ways, for transitive as well as intransitive verb. Okay, now I want to give you a small table of how to cover it in both the cases. Okay, um, so let me erase it. Okay, so essentially, if you were to create generic pattern out of it, you know, you have a subject here. You have a subject, and you're saying might have. Okay, and then you have a verb. Okay, in basically you have a verb. Okay, and then you're finishing it I honge. So basically, then you have some sort of a linking verb after that. Okay. Um, so and the verb could be your transitive or intransitive. Intransitive or transitive. Okay, that's it, right? That's what you have. And then maybe you have some object here also. That's what your English sentence is. Okay, that's a generic structure of how you will when this thing will trigger in your mind that I have to use this format, right? So in Hindi, essentially, it could mean that you're using these verbs, that your pronouns, it could be he or she, okay? And then after that, you have, I, we, and they, and you, okay? That's basically, these are all the variation, and then you can still use might have. And then again, as I said, like, intransitive verb would be something like, to come, right? I mean, right? And the transitive verb in this case would be eat. And then your ending of the sentence with your proper object. Okay. Now I'll erase it further and I'll rewrite everything in how this works for the transitive verb. Okay. So it will be, think of it as like your I is your me. Okay. And then aap. I'm going to just write all the pronoun here. Hum is basically we. Okay, and then ve is your they. Okay, and vah is your he or she. Okay, majority of the pronouns will be covered. When you're using your transitive verb, you will be putting ne after that. So मैं becomes मैंने, आप becomes आपने, हमने, उन्होंने और उसने. Okay, then your basically verb conjugation. Okay, your verb conjugation. Um, because it's Hindi, object will come before, right? So even before that, you can kind of put ne, and then you can put the object mithai. Okay, subject ne, mithai, and then verb conjugation. Okay, now because it's a transitive verb, your verb conjugation is based on the object. Okay, so it could be basically khana becomes khaya, khai, khaye, and khai with a nasalized sound. Okay, if it is feminine plural. So let me actually write it in such a way that you can see everything. Khaya, khai, khai, and your khai with a nasalized sound. Okay, now ending of it would be same as your. Okay, so let's stick with it so far. Okay, so far your sentence is मैंने मिठाई. Okay, and mithai, because it's a feminine singular, it would be khai. Okay, मैंने मिठाई खाई. What do you think your ending will be? Aneji?
Hogi.
Very good, right? Hogi. So again, the ending will be based on like your object, right? So hoga, hogi, and then what else can be possible here? In this case, we are saying it's hogi, right? Because it's mithai is feminine singular, right? Give me an example where we can, use something else. So right now this is the first one, right, for mithai. Same thing if it is plural. If it is mithaiyan, feminine plural, you will say उन्होंने मिठाइयाँ. What will you choose, Anish ji?
Hogi?
Which verb conjugation?
The
उन्होंने.
last one.
Last one, very good, right? उन्होंने मिठाइयाँ खाई, and then
Is it hogi?
what do you think?
No, I don't know. It sounds weird. It's wing? No,
होंगी.
I don't know.
होंगी. It's a, think of it as it's a same. It will follow.
Okay, like honge, yeah.
Like, it will be following same pattern. Actually,
Mm.
hogi. So you will not put ne n sound here. It will be hogi, but with a nasalized sound. I see your confusion. Um, what if I replace mithai with something else? What if I say instead of mithai, I say apple? And this part may be a little bit difficult, so stick with me. How will you say that? उन्होंने apple. Which verb conjugation will you use? उन्होंने apple will be khaya for one apple. Okay, for because apple is considered masculine singular, and khaye for if you are having several apples, right? उन्होंने apple खाए होंगे. उन्होंने apple खाया. If it is one, it's खाया होगा. Okay, so I hope it's although it's a lot of information, but you're still able to to process it one at a time. Let me see if there are any questions. Let me see. I mean, let me just quickly go over all the comments. I think for the most part it's way Paris. Okay. So Carolina ji, yes, right. I mean, for apple you will be saying unhone. Let me erase it. So it's so for one apple you write. You'll be saying unhone apple khaya hoga. Okay. For one apple, unhone apple khaya hoga. Or for many, what will you say? Unhone apple khaye. What do you think, Anish ji?
With honge.
Honge.
Kaye honge.
Very good, right? For if it is many apples, right? Apples.
Yeah.
उन्होंने apples खाए होंगे. Okay.
How do you do the plural of seb?
Plural of what? Apples?
Of apple in Hindi. I
So
know that apple is seb, but I don't know how do we do the plural?
Yeah, I get your point. So in English it's rather straightforward because you have apple and you have apples. In Hindi it's basically you only say save, right? For apple. Okay. So there are many ways to do that. One way would be there is no one word, right? For example, your banana is kela and bananas are kele. Okay. Santra is your orange, santre is your plural, right? But in this case you will say बहुत सारे. उन्होंने बहुत सारे is nothing but many, right? बहुत सारे apple और बहुत सारे सेब. उन्होंने बहुत सारे सेब खाए होंगे. Does that make sense? Or still?
Yes. Yeah.
But the confusion is very valid because there is no one word in Hindi, right? I mean, like just like in English, right? I mean, so that's why you have to use bahut sare as your a tool. Either bahut sare or you can say kai. That's also a way to kind of like say something in like. So one would be bahut sare. Bahut sare is many. Okay, and the second one is kai. Some people say kai sare also. That's also correct. Okay, that's also many or several. Okay, the way you write it is you have a k, you have a e, kai, and the way you write this one is you have a b, you have a h with u, and then you have a t, bahut, and you have a s with a, and then you have a r with a. Okay, bahut sare. Okay. Um, so far you saw the formula for the because I still have like some more time. I'm gonna give you the formula for the deconstruction of the other part as well, right? The when the verb is intransitive. So just write it down and then I'll jump on that. Let me erase this one. Now let's, as I said, like now let's look at the another side of it, which is the intransitive part. It's a little bit more detailed of what we covered in the class, right? So you have your मैं, which is your I, आप, you, हम, which is your we, and then वे, which is your they in English. Okay, and then वह is basically your he or she. Okay, now we said the object in the previous sentence, one of the sentence was Paris. Okay, where Paris ko or Paris may. So I'm gonna just still keep it simple. Where Paris, where actually even if I don't write, it's fine. Where Paris, and then I said, you know. So for मैं it would be, what will you say, Aneshi? मैं Paris,
You're in present or in past?
past,
To come, to go, to what?
to come.
To come. So it's Anna. So it's I for me.
Okay, so for girl it's I, for a guy it's, that's right. So you will say Aya or I.
I.
Okay, very good. Right. Now, what about the ending? मैं Paris आया.
Oh, I hoga.
Look at the, so the ending doesn't change with like only the verb is changing. So even if you look at the previous lecture, right, you're using certain form of the hona. Okay, it's basically hunga or hungi. So that part doesn't change. Okay, so for aya it'll be hunga. For I it will be hungi. Only this part is changing. If you look at the previous lecture and this lecture, only this part is changing, and the post position part is changing, whether you are putting a post position or not. Okay. Now let's look at this one. Aap Paris, right? What will you say? Aap Paris.
I.
Very good, right? Aap Paris aaye, and then the ending will be based on your
Hongi.
honge. If you want to give a respect, then it's aap Paris aaye honge. Okay. Um, if you're still finding it tricky, just remember it and it'll be fine. In this particular table is just, this is meant to kind of provide you the help. Okay, so now let's go over this thing. Hum Paris aaye. For hum also you'll see the same thing. Hum Paris aaye. And what will be the ending, Aneshi? What do you think?
Same, no? Hongi.
Same. It's the same. It's to say हम पेरिस आए होंगे. It's gonna go based on the subject, right? Now, वे this is also same. वे पेरिस आए होंगे. Last one is different. What do you think?
It's Aya or I.
Very good, right? So it will be आया or आई. Okay, वह for a guy it's आया, for a girl it's आई. What do you think, आया?
Aya hoga and
Okay.
Ai hogi.
आया होगा and then आई होगी. You are absolutely right. Okay. So hopefully, as complicated as it is, hopefully, now that we've broken it down, it's simpler. Okay. What I want you to do as part of your homework exercise is like, like the way we did it, just replace this thing with and put a different word and a different object. That's all I want you to do. You can keep the ending as it is. You can keep the this pronouns as it is. You know, even if you replace object Paris with, let's say, Goa, and to come you can replace it with to go. Okay, you can say मैं or आप गोवा गए होंगे. Simple, right? um, आप you might have slept early, right? आप जल्दी सोए होंगे. Okay. You might have played. Okay, you might have played cricket. Then now to आपने, because it's a transitive verb, right? आपने cricket खेला होगा. Okay, now, so that's all I want you to do. Take both the tables that we covered, this one and the previous one, and just replace the object with something else, and replace the verb with verb of your choice, and see if you can create different sentences or not. Okay, if you're still feeling stuck, you should ask. Okay, and you should ask me either in the class, or you should ask me in the on the WhatsApp group. Okay, and we'll cover it. But I can assure you, this is not an easy topic. In the last 450 videos, I've not covered this one. So if you're finding it challenging, it's still a positive sign. Don't think that it's it's something wrong with your understanding. This topic is a tricky one. Okay. With that being in mind, I'm gonna just finish it up and open it up for discussion for folks who join live on YouTube as well as on Facebook. Thank you so much for your time, and we'll meet again next Sunday. Um, I mean, I see a lot of people joining live on the YouTube as well, but please do write some notes or comments. It helps me at least understand and connect with you. And that's how I remember, people. So thanks so much, and we'll connect again. Bye. Okay, so Anish ji, I'll probably finish it up and.